God damn, look at the size of that bad boy. You're watching Pat Plays, and today it's not time for another episode of Coffee and Nostalgia, because this is actually the very first episode in a brand new series of videos called Pat to the Past. So this is a new series which I'm going to be uploading alongside of Coffee and Nostalgia, but with its very own slightly different format. So in the Coffee and Nostalgia episodes, I'll normally talk a little bit about a project that I made in the past. I might show you some behind the scenes stuff. I'll talk about the influences. I might show you pieces of my collection and just generally talk about my favourite films and games. But I'll never really show you anything in its entirety that I made. And that is what Pat to the Past is all about. In each episode, I will be showing you in full one of my early video projects from the past. And this is most likely going to be things that have never really been uploaded to the internet, and if they have, it was for a very short-lived time. So I'll be digging out some golden nuggets that have never really seen the light of day, and then showing you them in their entirety, and giving them a place to live on this channel. So, where better to start this series than with the very first episode of Pat Plays. So this was a sort of pilot episode that I shot for the series all the way back in 2013. And this certainly was never uploaded anywhere. So, let's all watch it together right now as we go Pat to the Past.
This thing here is the Megadrive X, and it's basically a Russian knockoff version of a Genesis 3, and it plays Japanese, English and American Megadrive games. What's a Genesis 3? Well, in England we have the Megadrive and the Megadrive 2, but in America it's called a Genesis, and they've got the Genesis 2 and the Genesis 3, and the Genesis 3 is what the Megadrive X has taken its shape from. And this has got to be one of the weirdest things I've ever bought when it comes to games consoles. I got it off eBay, like I said, and it came in this box here. I opened it up, and then it comes in its actual packaging, and it's got all Russian writing all over it and on the back. And it's got pictures of Pokemon on it, which I really don't understand, because Pokemon has got nothing to do with Sega or anything like that. There's no Pokemon games for any of the Mega Drives or Genesis, so I've got no idea why there's Pokemon on it. I opened it up and the console was in there, which is absolutely tiny. It's ridiculously small, and it's got the two pads that came with it, the turbo pads, which is pretty cool. And one of the weirdest things is that it came with an official Atari Jaguar AC adapter, which is just the strangest thing ever, because this is like brand new. So I don't know if the manufacturers somehow got hold of a load of Jaguar AC adapters and just packaged it with it, but this is it's definitely the smallest console that I've got, and it just looks ridiculous when you plug a game in, because the game just towers over it, especially if you've got Sonic and Knuckles. I mean, you put Sonic 3 or Sonic 2 on top of it, it looks so funny. It's also the lightest console that I've got, which is really annoying, because once you've got it plugged in and you're playing a game, if you like sit down and pull the controller a tiny bit, it just moves the entire thing, and it's like it's just going to fall off and break any second. It just feels like it's made out of really cheap plastic, but I kind of like the look of it, and it plays all my Mega Drive games really well. The only problem is, once you've got a game in there, I think the pins are a bit tight, because you really have to try and pull to get the game back out. I mean, this is me trying my hardest, and it just feels like you're going to break your games when you're pulling them back out. So all in all, it's a cool little console. I really like the design. I actually prefer playing on this to my other Mega Drive consoles, just because of the controllers. They're a bit smaller and they just seem to function a bit better than all the older stuff that I have. And it's just a nice, affordable way to play American and Japanese games here in England, even though it's from Russia or China. This was Pat Plays. I hope you enjoyed it.